Hello, this is Jay with Pathway Clojure, and in this video we're going to look at getting started with Clojure. This is a half-screen video training tutorial. You can find out more about that at webappzero.com, half-screen training debut. In this video we're going to look at the Clojure Bridge curriculum, and specifically we're going to maybe offer one alternative suggestion. Instead of using Nightcode as the editor, we're going to play around with using Nightlight, which is the browser-based version of that is affiliated with Nightcode. So, first thing we want to do is go to github.com/clojurebridge/curriculum, and there is a setup guide that we can click on, which will give us a choice of operating systems. So we have instructions by operating system. I'm using OS X, so I'll select that option. Inside of these instructions, we see that we start a terminal, we install Git, we configure Git, we make sure Java is installed, or we install it, we install Leiningen, and then the suggestion is to install Nightcode, which, if you're totally new and want to just follow the instructions as is, that's probably a good idea to do. There's nothing wrong with these instructions, and we appreciate very much the fact that people put effort into sharing them with us. But we might suggest that it would be fun to play around with using Nightlight, which is a browser-based version of Nightcode that makes it easy to get started with Clojure script as well. So we may be doing that in the next few weeks. So that's what this video is about. We're going to assume that you are able to follow along all of these previous steps, and then when it comes to the section of Nightcode, we're just going to jump in here and show you what to do. We suggest that you probably use Leiningen if you're new to Clojure, and you will have installed that already as per the instructions within Clojure Bridge setup guide. And when you do install Leiningen, you will have a directory called .lean in your home directory. And inside of that, you'll have a file called profiles.clj. You can open this file in any text editor on your system. So Notepad if you're on Windows, TextEdit if you're on Mac. If you're on Linux, you can use Nano or VI or any of the other any of the other basic text editors to get you going. And there will be we call these associative data structures a map. So here we have the user key, and then and the value of the user key is another map. Maps begin with a curly brace. And then we have the plugins key, and the value of that key is a vector. And this vector holds 0, 1, or more dependency vectors. So we have a single dependency vector here in green. I've highlighted it. And inside of that, we have nightlight/lean-nightlight, and then a space, and then a string 1.9.0. And basically, we just want to copy the green part, and then open up that, let's see, I'm going to change directory into my home directory. That's the tilde symbol. It's in the upper left portion of your keyboard. So now I'm in my home directory, and I will have a file called lean.lean-profiles.clj. So if I open that file, it will open in my default text editor for my system, which in my case happens to be Lighttable. Yours may be different. And you can see that I already have this, I already have a dependency vector for Nightlight in my system. If it didn't exist, then I would just paste it in there. So it would look something like this. In fact, what it will probably look like on your system is that you'll have an empty plugins dependency vector like that. And you'll just paste that in there. Okay, so I'm going to discard these changes, but that's what yours would look like. Once you have that, you can follow the instructions to, let's see here. Actually, well, yeah, this will work. Let me point this out to you. So inside of Clojure Bridge, after the install Nightcode section, there is a test your setup section. And first they test lean. We'll skip that part. This next part, they clone a GitHub repository. And so here is this command, git clone, welcome to Clojure Bridge. So you'll run that from your command line. And in my case, I actually want to change directories into my projects directory. If you don't have a projects directory, you can do make dir and make a projects directory. I think I already have. I've done this step before, so I'm going to redo it. I'm going to throw away my existing welcome to Clojure Bridge using the trash command, and now I'm going to go back out and git clone. You won't have to do that. You can just git clone, and that will create the welcome to Clojure Bridge directory. You can change directories into that, and we can list out the files and see we have a project.clj file, so I know this is a Linigan project. Now I can run the command nightlight. Oh, that's not it. It's lean nightlight -- port, and you can choose a port number. I'm going to choose 4000. You can choose 4001, 4002 if you run into any conflicts, etc. And once Nightlight starts up, okay, it's telling me the address is already in use, so let's switch to 4001. I had a process running already on that same port, so you got to see a conflict. And now I'm going to right-click and say Open URL. And I'll go to the source directory, welcome Clojure Bridge, click on core.clj, and you can see I have some tools at the top. I can turn on insta-REPL, and it will evaluate everything in the file, and that causes some side effects, which I get a native OS window, I think, that pops up here. And so you can also evaluate forms individually by highlighting a form and clicking on eval, and that will send it over to the REPL window, or the REPL screen within Nightlight. So that's separate from your source file. If we go back to core.clj over here, you'll see insta-REPL will actually open up a little bar on the left-hand side of the screen, and it will evaluate these forms one by one. You can mouse over some of these forms to see what it's resolving to, the value that it's returning. And so this will help just get you kickstarted with Clojure. You can start to follow your nose, go back to the Clojure curriculum. Once you have followed the setup, you can go back to the main curriculum section, and you can go through You can watch the slides, which are right here on this link. You can go through this introduction to programming with Clojure. You can just go through these one by one, and then you have choices for your capstone projects. I will just say this global growth is for advanced students. You need to be familiar with web development and the concepts therein. So you may want to stay away from that if you're just new to programming in general. And that is enough to get you kick-started with everything. So Nightlight for those of you who are adventurous, Night Code, you can stick with that for those of you that want to just go by the book. Really appreciated your attention for this video, and we hope that you join us for some future videos right here at pathwayclojure.org. Thank you very much, and have a great day.